The automotive world is witnessing unprecedented drama as Bugatti and Rimac have posted what appears to be an indirect piece offering to YouTuber Matt Armstrong, just days after Armstrong successfully split a Bugatti Chiron in his regular garage. Mate Rimac released a factory tour invitation video that has sent the internet into a frenzy of speculation. Did you know that you can come to the Rimac campus and have a factory tour and see everything? How we build the Nevra, our 2,100 horsepower electric hypercar, right next to Bugatti Chiron prototypes, at the same place. So I would encourage you, if you're interested in that, come over, have a look for yourself. You can apply on our website to have a factory tour. If you're into this kind of stuff, enjoy it if you come over. The timing couldn't be more suspicious, and the automotive community has immediately identified what's really happening beneath the surface of this seemingly innocent promotional content. To understand the magnitude of this moment, we need to revisit what Matt Armstrong actually accomplished. He successfully split a Bugatti Chiron's monocoque structure in an ordinary garage using standard tools available to any independent mechanic with enough determination. This wasn't just another repair video uploaded for views. This was a direct contradiction of statements made by Bugatti's own leadership, who had previously declared that such a procedure was absolutely impossible outside of Bugatti's specialized facilities with their proprietary equipment and trained technicians. Armstrong's achievement represents far more than technical skill. It has become a symbol for the broader right to repair movement that has been gaining momentum across multiple industries. When a determined builder armed with nothing but passion, resourcefulness, and a willingness to learn can accomplish what a billion-dollar manufacturer claimed was impossible, it fundamentally undermines every argument these companies have used to justify their stranglehold over repairs, parts access, and service monopolies. The implications extend far beyond one Chiron in one garage. This challenges the entire foundation of how luxury manufacturers control their vehicles after sale. The Chiron split became a watershed moment that captivated audiences worldwide. Millions of viewers watched as Armstrong methodically documented each step of the process, proving that with proper research, careful execution, and the right approach, even the most complex hypercar procedures can be performed independently. The message rang out crystal clear across the automotive community. Manufacturers don't hold exclusive keys to automotive knowledge, and their claims about impossibility often serve corporate profit margins rather than reflecting any genuine technical reality. In this new video, Rimac explains enthusiastically how visitors can apply to tour a facility where both the Nevra electric hypercar and the Bugatti Chiron prototypes are being assembled on the same production line. He encourages anyone interested in seeing how these cutting-edge vehicles are manufactured to apply through the company website. On the surface, it appears to be innocuous corporate content designed to promote brand engagement and project an image of transparency. But the timing transforms absolutely everything about how this video should be interpreted. This wasn't posted during a normal promotional cycle when marketing teams schedule content releases. This wasn't part of any pre-planned campaign designed to highlight manufacturing capabilities. This video appeared immediately after Rimac and Bugatti were publicly proven wrong by an independent builder working with basic tools in an unremarkable garage. The automotive community, sharp-eyed and perpetually skeptical of corporate messaging, immediately recognized exactly what they were witnessing unfold. The response to Rimac's video reveals precisely how clearly the audience understood the subtext lurking beneath every carefully chosen word. The comments section transformed into a referendum on what the CEO was really attempting to communicate. Users flooded the discussion with observations that stripped away the polished veneer of standard promotional content, calling out the obvious timing, questioning the sudden embrace of transparency, and wondering aloud whether this was anything more than a desperate attempt to control a narrative that had slipped entirely beyond Bugatti's grasp. To fully appreciate why this matters so profoundly, we need to examine the strategic positions both parties currently occupy. Matt Armstrong sits at the absolute center of what has become the most famous Bugatti rebuild ever attempted in automotive history. His YouTube channel has transformed from straightforward automotive content into a global phenomenon, with millions of dedicated viewers following every single update. Each video released generates massive engagement, sparking discussion and analysis across every major social media platform. The algorithm rewards his consistency, and the audience rewards his authenticity. The rebuild has transcended simple automotive interest entirely. It represents a David versus Goliath narrative that resonates far beyond the boundaries of traditional car enthusiasm. People who have never considered purchasing a hypercar, who will never sit behind the wheel of anything approaching a Chiron, find themselves deeply invested in Armstrong's success. They watch because it represents something larger than one man and one car. It represents challenging corporate authority, demonstrating that determination and skill can overcome institutional gatekeeping, proving that the little guy can win against seemingly insurmountable odds. The right to repair movement has rallied behind Armstrong's project with remarkable intensity. Advocacy groups, independent mechanics, and consumer rights organizations view this rebuild as a critical test case for their broader arguments about ownership and repair rights. If Armstrong succeeds in completely rebuilding a Chiron without any manufacturer support whatsoever, it undermines every single justification manufacturers offer for restricting independent repair access. Every bolt he tightens, every system he restores, every mile the finished car eventually travels becomes evidence against the industry's restrictive practices. Meanwhile, Bugatti faces escalating brand damage that compounds with each passing week. Their reputation, painstakingly cultivated over decades as representing the absolute pinnacle of automotive engineering and exclusivity, is being openly questioned by the very enthusiasts who once viewed the brand with reverence. Comments across social media platforms call Bugatti's safety arguments into question, accuse the company of deliberately misleading customers about repair possibilities, and demand accountability from leadership. The criticism has grown increasingly pointed and difficult to dismiss. The pricing justifications Bugatti has long employed for parts and service are being scrutinized more critically than ever before. If an independent builder can source alternatives and complete complex procedures successfully, why exactly do manufacturer parts cost exponentially more? What justifies those astronomical markups? The monopolistic aspects of the hypercar aftermarket, previously accepted as simply the cost of playing in this exclusive space, are now being challenged as excessive, unjustified, and perhaps even predatory. This creates what can only be described as an impossible situation for Rimac and Bugatti, continuing their adversarial stance against independent repair guarantees further brand erosion. Every Armstrong update becomes another opportunity for the community to highlight Bugatti's obstruction, their misleading claims, and their apparent hostility toward customer autonomy. The narrative of manufacturer versus passionate builder has already been firmly established in the public consciousness, and Bugatti has been cast unmistakably in the villain role. Each chapter Armstrong adds to the story reinforces that characterization. However, reversing course presents equally difficult challenges for the company. How does the CEO who confidently declared the split impossible now offer assistance without appearing inconsistent? How does leadership admit fault without inviting legal liability or undermining future positions on repair restrictions? Corporate leadership rarely admits mistakes explicitly, especially when those mistakes were made publicly, confidently, and with apparent condescension toward those who dare to disagree. The factory tour invitation represents a potential middle path through this minefield. It's not an explicit admission of error that lawyers would have to approve. It's not a direct invitation to Armstrong that would constitute a complete reversal. It remains plausibly deniable as routine promotional content that just happened to appear at this particular moment. Yet simultaneously, it sends a signal that Bugatti's doors are open, that the company welcomes passionate builders, and that perhaps collaboration rather than confrontation represents the path forward. If Armstrong were to express interest in visiting, Bugatti could frame any subsequent interaction as educational outreach and brand engagement rather than backtracking from their previous adamant positions. The company could position itself as supportive of automotive passion while maintaining that their original concerns were centered entirely on liability and safety rather than deliberate gatekeeping. It provides an off-ramp from the current collision course without requiring anyone to explicitly admit wrongdoing. If Armstrong ignores the overture entirely, Bugatti can claim they attempted to be welcoming and transparent, portraying any continued criticism as fundamentally unfair given their apparent openness to engagement. Either outcome provides Bugatti with substantially better positioning than their current trajectory toward ongoing reputational damage. The invitation works as corporate strategy regardless of the response it receives. But here's where Bugatti's calculation may prove fatally flawed. The strategic reality is that Armstrong has absolutely no incentive to accept any indirect invitation from Bugatti. His current position is overwhelmingly advantageous and grows stronger with each successful milestone. The rebuild progresses exactly as planned. Community support continues swelling with every video release. Each achievement proves Bugatti wrong, without requiring Armstrong to compromise his independence, dilute his narrative, or accept any conditions that might limit his creative freedom. Accepting a factory tour invitation would muddy Armstrong's crystal-clear positioning as the independent builder challenging corporate restrictions. It could be interpreted as needing Bugatti's. Meanwhile, Bugatti faces escalating brand damage that compounds with each passing week. Their reputation, painstakingly cultivated over decades as representing the absolute pinnacle of automotive engineering and exclusivity, is being openly questioned by the very enthusiasts who once viewed the brand with reverence. Comments across social media platforms call Bugatti's safety arguments into question, accuse the company of deliberately misleading customers about repair possibilities, and demand accountability from leadership. The criticism has grown increasingly pointed and difficult to dismiss. The pricing justifications Bugatti has long employed for parts and service are being scrutinized more critically than ever before. If an independent builder can source alternatives and complete complex procedures successfully, why exactly do manufacturer parts cost exponentially more? What justifies those astronomical markups? The monopolistic aspects of the hypercar aftermarket, previously accepted as simply the cost of playing in this exclusive space, are now being challenged as excessive, unjustified, and perhaps even predatory. This creates what can only be described as an impossible situation for Rimac and Bugatti. Continuing their adversarial stance against independent